Previous chapter. Recap. Leon, a cook who never expected to be anything more than a kitchen disaster, falls from the sky straight into King Aldrich's arms. The king, declaring him his destined spouse, thrusts Lion into a whirlwind of palace politics, rival queens, and a marriage he never asked for. As the wedding day looms, Aldrich's unexpected kindness begins to crack Lia's defenses, leaving him torn between resisting this strange fate and the undeniable attraction to the cold king. After their whirlwind wedding, Lion is thrust into his first night with Aldrich, where simmering tension and unexpected tenderness stir emotions he can't ignore. As jealousy, confusion, and lingering doubts threaten to tear them apart, Lion must decide whether to keep resisting Aldrich's growing affection or give in to the bond that's forming between them. Will they navigate this royal chaos, or will it break them before they can truly begin? Chapter 6. The first night, which is not what you think. The festivities ended. The nobles retreated. The torches dimmed, and Lion found himself staring at a door. A very big door. A very important door. The royal marital chamber. Oh no, he whispered to himself, clutching the sides of his ceremonial robe. Oh yes, Solara whispered dramatically behind him, making him jump 3 feet into the air. Stop sneaking up on me, Leon yelped. Solara folded her arms. I simply wanted to see the historic moment when the Skyboy enters the dragon's den. Mira sighed. She means the bedroom. Yes, Mira. Thank you for that translation, Lion snapped. Solara smirked. Don't worry, Aldrich won't eat you. Mira added thoughtfully. He might nibble though. Goodbye. Lion squeaked, stumbling into the chamber and slamming the door. The king, who looked too good in nightwear. Aldrich stood by the window, untied from his ceremonial armor, wearing simple dark robes. Simple, except they somehow made him look more dangerously attractive. Leon's soul left his body. Aldrich turned. You're trembling. I'm not. I'm just vibrating with atmospheric anxiety. Aldrich raised an eyebrow. That is not a real term. It is now? Leon declared. Aldrich walked closer. Lion, please don't say my name like that, Leon begged. How did I say it? With your soft king voice, the one that melts people. Aldrich blinked. I have many voices I use as king. Yes, well, this one is illegal. Aldrich stepped fully into the lamplight. Leon's heart made a sound similar to a dying cat. The conversation that got too close. Aldrich stopped an arm's length away. Are you frightened of me? Yes. I mean no. I mean stop asking questions like that. Aldrich's lips twitched. Lion, he said softly. I will not touch you without permission. Leon blinked. You won't? No, no. The relief hit him so hard his legs wobbled. Aldrich immediately reached out to steady him. Lion grabbed his arm to avoid falling, and then realized what he was holding. Strong, solid, warm. Ah! He dropped the arm like it burned him. Aldrich looked faintly amused. I do not burn, Leon. You do emotionally. The bed situation. Leon examined the large bed. Beautiful sheets, fluffy pillows, space for 3 grown men, and possibly a horse. Leon swallowed. So, how do we sleep? Aldrich didn't hesitate. You take the bed. I will take the couch. Leon blinked. The couch was tiny. A king should not fit on it. No, wait, you're the king. You take the bed. You are my spouse. That doesn't mean you shrink. It is fine. No, I refuse to be the reason your back breaks. Aldrich looked at him, amused. So you care for my well-being? I care because a king with a broken back is bad for national security. Aldrich chuckled. Leon froze. He had never heard that sound from the king before. It was warm, soft, dangerous. Do that again, Lion whispered before he could stop himself. Aldrich's eyebrows rose. La. Yes. No. I mean, forget I said anything. The heart-to-heart, romantic alert. Aldrich sat on the edge of the bed. Leon sat beside him, too close for his own sanity. Aldrich spoke first. You were brave today. No, I wasn't. You were. No, I screamed. Aldrich tilted his head. You completed your vows. I tripped on my words. You looked at me. Leon blushed. Well, I had to. You told me to. And you trusted me, Aldrich said softly. Leon bit his lip. I did. Aldrich's voice dropped to a near whisper. Lion? Yes. May I hold your hand? Lion's brain blue screen. Whoa. Because I want to. Leon squeaked. Then, okay, if you want. Aldrich gently intertwined their fingers. Leon forgot how to inhale. His hand felt tiny in Aldrich's. Warm. Safe. Too safe. Dangerously safe. Like the beginning of a disaster called feelings. The night ends with too much tension. Aldrich stood and guided Lion to the bed. You sleep here. What about you? I will stay nearby. Leon grabbed his sleeve. Wait. Aldrich stopped. I'm scared of nightmares. Aldrich's expression softened instantly. Do you want me to stay until you fall asleep? Yes. Aldrich nodded and sat beside him again. Leon slid under the blanket. Aldrich rested one hand on the sheets near Lia's arm, not touching, but close enough to feel his presence. Good night, Leon. Leon's eyes softened. Good night, Aldrich. Silence. Soft breathing. Aldrich watched over him like a guardian. Lion half whispered in the darkness. You're really not stone-hearted at all. Aldrich replied quietly. Not with you. Lion fell asleep, smiling. Aldrich watched him for a long moment, then whispered, barely audible. And perhaps, because of you. Chapter 7. The king who doesn't know how to court, but tries anyway. Morning sunlight leaked through the curtains. Birds chirped softly. And Lion woke up to find a king sitting silently in a chair, staring at him like a guardian statue. Ah! Leon shot up, hair exploding in every direction. Aldrich blinked. Good morning. Don't just sit there and look at me sleeping. Aldrich tilted his head. You asked me to stay until you fell asleep. Yes, until I fell asleep. Not until I woke up. That's a whole different, kingly level of intimacy. Aldrich rose smoothly. I did not want you to wake alone. Leon's heart melted into soup, then immediately re-solidified into panic. You can't just say things like that when I'm half awake. My soul isn't ready. Aldrich looked unbothered. Then prepare your soul. It doesn't come with an instruction manual. Breakfast chaos. The cute king is dangerous. At breakfast, Leon tried to act normal. He failed. Spectacularly. First, he tripped on the chair. Then he dropped his spoon. Then he nearly threw a piece of bread across the room, because Aldrich said Lion in his soft morning voice. Aldrich finally set down his cup. Are you always this unsteady? He asked gently. Leon pointed dramatically. You're doing it again. Doing what? That voice. Aldrich blinked. My voice is the same as always. No, this is your soft domestic husband voice. The one that makes food taste sweeter and makes my brain shut down. Aldrich stared at him for a long moment. I see. Then he tried. He tried so hard to speak more neutrally. It came out monotone, robot-like, terrifying. Lion, eat bread. Leon burst into laughter so violently he nearly choked. Stop, oh God. You sound like you're threatening the bread. Aldrich frowned. I was attempting to be less soft. No. Go back to the soft voice. I can't handle Robot King. Aldrich returned to normal, slightly amused. Lion covered his face. I hate this. Why are you so cute sometimes? Aldrich blinked slowly. Cute? Lion slapped both hands over his mouth. I said nothing. You called me cute. I said nothing. Aldrich leaned closer. Cute? Nope. Never happened. You misheard. You hallucinated. It was the wind alcohol. Aldrich's lips curved ever so slightly. Dangerously attractive. Lethal to Lion's sanity. Queen Solara strikes again. Solara barged into the dining hall like a thunderstorm in royal silk. Good morning, newlyweds. Disgusting. Leon choked on his tea. Mira followed behind her, gently tugging Solara's elbow. Be kind. Why? He married the king in one day. He stole the royal spotlight. He's adorable, but that's not the point. Wait, you think I'm adorable? Leon asked. Solara snarled. Don't twist my insults into compliments. Lion hid behind Aldrich. Again. Aldrich placed a hand protectively in front of him. Again. Solara groaned. You're really spoiling him. Aldrich didn't answer, which only made it worse. Solara pointed at Lion. You, come to the training yard later. Leon blinked. Why? To test if you're worthy of being married to a walking. Leon gulped. Define test. Solara cracked her knuckles. Physical combat. Define physical. She smirked. Try to survive. Leon looked at Aldrich with puppy eyes. Aldrich sighed. Solara, Aldrich said calmly, Lion is not required to fight. Solara gasped dramatically. Oh, I see. He's the delicate spouse. Leon crossed his arms. Excuse me, I am not delicate. I am, moderately durable. Solara arched a brow. We'll see. Training yard. Chaos Part 2. Leon stood in the middle of the training yard holding a wooden practice sword upside down. Solara, correct your grip. Leon flipped it. Still wrong. Mira quietly switched it for him. Solara sighed aggressively. This is hopeless. Lion snapped. Hey, I can be warrior-like. Aldrich appearing behind him. No, you can't. Leon shrieked. Stop appearing like that. You have stealth skills. Aldrich corrected gently. I walked through the front gate. Lion. Well, your footsteps are shy. Aldrich's lips twitched. Shy footsteps. Yes, they tiptoe emotionally. Solara pinched the bridge of her nose. I can't do this. Mira laughed softly. It's good to see such life in the palace. Solara glared. Don't encourage him. Aldrich stepped closer to Lion. Let me show you, he said. He placed his hands over Lia's. Big, warm, steady. Leon forgot what air was. We begin with stance, Aldrich murmured. But I'm too close. I can hear your breathing. Yes, Aldrich said calmly. That is normal. Not for me. Aldrich adjusted his posture from behind. Leon nearly dissolved. Solara groaned. They're flirting. In my training yard. Disgusting. Mira smiled. It's adorable. Aldrich ignored both. You are safe, he murmured at Lion's ear. Leon's knees buckled. Aldrich caught him instantly. Aye, my legs malfunction. That happens around me often, Aldrich said softly. Leon's face burst into flames. The accidental, almost kiss. A moment later, Lion tripped forward again. But this time he collided with Aldrich's chest. Aldrich caught him around the waist. They froze, faces inches apart, breath mingling, heat spreading. Leon stared up into the king's gold-flecked eyes. Aldrich stared back, expression soft and dangerously tender. Leon whispered, "Stop looking at me like that." "Like what?" Aldrich murmured. "Like you want to." He stopped. Aldrich leaned in just slightly. Barely. Almost. The air crackled. Mira covered her mouth. Solaris screamed, "Absolutely not. Not in public." Leon jolted away like a startled rabbit. Aldrich exhaled slowly, gaze lowered. Solara marched forward, pointing accusingly at both of them. "No kissing in the training yard, or anywhere I can see." Leon yelled, "We didn't!" Aldrich corrected calmly, "We almost did." Leon slapped a hand over his mouth. "Aldrich, please!" Solara gagged dramatically. "This marriage is going to kill me." The end of the chapter. Unfinished tension. Later, walking back to their chambers, Lion whispered, "Aldrich, were you really going to?" Aldrich looked at him seriously. "I will not kiss you until you want me to." Leon's heart exploded. I didn't say I didn't want, I mean, you." Aldrich smiled, gentle and devastating. "Then, I will wait." Leon melted into the floor emotionally. Chapter 8. Jealousy, Jam, and the King's Territorial Street. Lion's life took a sharp turn after the almost kiss incident. Very sharp. As in, now. Aldrich wouldn't stop hovering. He was subtle about it, in a kingly, intimidating, "I'm not jealous, I'm just observing" kind of way. But everyone noticed, especially Lion. The palace staff discover a new species. Leon walked through the palace gardens, finally enjoying some peace. He smiled at the flowers, breathed the fresh air, felt the breeze, and then felt a presence behind him. He turned. Aldrich stood there, just standing, silently. Lion jumped, up appearing like a ghost king. Aldrich blinked. "I walked normally. You walked emotionally quietly again." Aldrich stepped closer. "I'm ensuring your safety." "I'm picking flowers." "Yes." "You think the flowers are hostile?" "Yes." Leon groaned, covering his face. "Why are you like this?" Aldrich leaned slightly, voice low. "I am attentive." "That's not attentive. That's protective to the point of being what?" Lion's voice shrank. "Cute." Aldrich paused. "Cute? No, I didn't say it. Forget it. Delete it from memory." Aldrich's lips curved faintly. "I will not." Lion melted. The new guard and the jealous king. Later that day, Aldrich introduced new palace guards assigned to Leon. "Lion," Aldrich said, "you will have 2 personal guards from now on." "Why?" "For your protection." "I don't need protection. I need stress relief." The first guard bowed. A tall, handsome man with soft eyes. "Your Highness, my name is Rowan. It is an honor." Leon smiled nervously. "Oh, nice to meet you." Before Rowan could straighten, Aldrich stepped forward and pulled Lion gently behind him. "Do not stand so close." Rowan blinked. "Your Majesty, I was simply introducing." "Step back." Lion tugged Aldrich's sleeve. "Aldrich, he's literally your guard." "Are you jealous?" Aldrich froze. His expression was neutral. Too neutral. "No," he said calmly. Lion pointed. That's a jealous face. I do not have a jealous face. Yes, you do. You get all stiff like someone stole your favorite blanket. Aldrich looked away. Rowan, amused, murmured, Your Majesty, he's quite perceptive. Aldrich glared. Rowan retreated instantly. Leon covered his mouth to hide a laugh. Stop enjoying this, Aldrich muttered. I can't. You're being adorable. Aldrich blinked slowly, like a lion deciding whether to pounce or lie down. The kitchen scene, jam, flirting, and disaster. In the afternoon, Leon wandered into the royal kitchen. Aldrich followed. Not immediately, not obviously, but within 30 seconds of Lion stepping inside, the king appeared in the doorway, arms crossed. The cooks froze. Lion turned. Why are you here? This room has knives. It also has jam. Are you protecting me from jam? Yes. Aldrich. The head cook cleared his throat. Your Majesty, what brings you here? Aldrich spoke without hesitation. I am supervising. Lion threw his hands up. Supervising what? My ability to eat bread? Precisely. Leon marched up to him, poking his chest. You are unbelievable. Aldrich grabbed his wrist gently. Careful, you might hurt your finger. My finger? On your chest? Yes. You're impossible. Yes. Leon's cheeks went scarlet. Oh, gods, he whispered. You're flirting. You're flirting while standing in a room full of jam. Aldrich leaned slightly closer. Then perhaps we should leave the kitchen. Lion nearly combusted. Stop saying things like that. The nearly disastrous taste test. A cook offered Lion a spoonful of new fruit jam. Leon took one taste and his eyes lit up. This is amazing. Rowan, the handsome new guard, handed him a napkin. Here, Your Highness. Aldrich appeared instantly. He took the napkin from Rowan and handed it to Lion himself. Rowan blinked. Your Majesty, I was just assisting. Aldrich spoke calmly, coldly. No. Lion choked on jam. Aldrich, you cannot forbid people from handing me napkins. Aldrich didn't look away from Rowan. I can. Lion grabbed Aldrich's sleeve. Aldrich, stop it. You're being territorial. Aldrich looked down at him, unbothered. Yes. Lion froze. Did you just admit it? Aldrich's voice dipped lower. If others stand too close, it displeases me. Leon forgot how to breathe. Aldrich added softly, for Leon only. You are mine to protect. Leon nearly dropped the jam spoon. That's not fair. You can't just say things like that in that voice. Aldrich took the spoon from his hand, wiped his lips gently, and murmured, Then, tell me to stop. Leon's voice was a whisper. I can't. Aldrich's golden eyes softened. Then I won't. A private moment in the hallway. As they left the kitchen, Lion slipped on the polished floor. Aldrich caught him instantly, one arm around his waist. The world stopped. Leon clung to his robes. You saved me. It is my duty. No, this was not duty. That catch was fast. That was my spouse's falling, and I refused to let him touch the ground speed. Aldrich looked at him quietly, thumb brushing his waist. Perhaps. Leon swallowed. Hard. Aldrich. Are you? Always like this with people you like? Aldrich paused. Silence. Then, no. Leon's pulse thundered. So, with me, it's different? Aldrich leaned closer. Very. Leon's brain shattered. He whispered, flustered and soft. Why? Aldrich's hand lifted, fingers brushing the side of Lion's face. You fell from the sky, he murmured. And I have been falling ever since. Lian's knees nearly gave out. Aldrich caught him again, holding him close. You tremble, Aldrich whispered. You caused the trembling, Lian squeaked. Aldrich's smile was warm enough to set the hallway on fire. End of chapter. Lian realizes too much. Later that night, lying in bed, Lian covered his burning face. He's jealous. He hovers. He flirts. He looks at me like I'm precious or something. He let out a small embarrassed groan. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Dio. He buried his face in the pillow. I'm falling for him. Outside the door, Aldrich paused, sensing Lian awake. He touched the wooden frame lightly and whispered, so softly only the night air heard, so am I. Chapter 9. The King Who Can't Sleep, but Definitely Can Flirt. Lian didn't sleep well. He blamed Aldrich. Specifically, he blamed the king's jawline, voice, eyes, and unnecessarily dramatic romantic statement. Also, the hovering. Mostly the hovering. By dawn, Lian stumbled out of his chambers with dark circles under his eyes. A guard gasped. Your Highness, you look... Don't say anything. The guard shut his mouth instantly. The king looks too good in the morning. Lian dragged himself to breakfast. He expected peace. He did not expect Aldrich to be sitting there, looking like the morning sun sculpted a perfect king statue. His hair loose, his robe half unlaced, his expression soft, tragic, unnecessary, unfair. Lian froze in the doorway. Aldrich lifted his gaze. Lian. Lian internally shrieked. Slowly he walked to the table and sat down without looking directly at the king, because his soul was not strong enough yet. Aldrich studied him quietly. You didn't sleep, he said softly. Lian stabbed a piece of fruit. I slept perfectly. You look exhausted. I always look exhausted. No. Well, today is special. Aldrich's brows furrowed. Why couldn't you rest? Lian nearly shouted. Because of you, you attractive menace. Instead, he muttered, thoughts, just thoughts. Aldrich leaned slightly toward him. What thought? Private thought. Aldrich paused. Were they about me? Lian choked on his fruit. No, why would you? What makes you say that? Aldrich gave him a calm, unreadable look. You said, meaning your sleep. Lian slammed his hands on the table. I did not. Aldrich nodded. You said, stop hovering, Aldrich. Lian died inside. The servants turned away, pretending not to hear. Not fair. Lian groaned. You even hover in my dreams. Aldrich sipped his tea, unbothered. I am consistent. The accidental hand-holding incident. After breakfast, they walked through the palace hallway. Lian was babbling nervously about anything and everything to avoid silence. And then I saw a squirrel. Aldrich, are you listening? Aldrich didn't answer. He was staring at Lian's hand. Or rather, holding it. Lian looked down. Their fingers were intertwined. At some point, Aldrich had reached out and taken his hand naturally, as if it were the most normal thing in the world. When did this happen? Lian squeaked. Aldrich looked down at their hands. Earlier. You didn't tell me. You didn't ask. That's not how hands work. Aldrich lifted their joined hands slightly. It feels natural. Lian's heart exploded. Aldrich watched him, eyes warm. If this makes you uncomfortable, I will let go. Lian panicked. No, yes, maybe, Aldrich gently tightened his hold. Then I will hold on a little longer. Lian squealed internally. The queens interrupt a moment they shouldn't have seen. They turned a corner and walked straight into the two royal wives. Queen Seraphina, the sad first wife, gasped. Queen Valara, the angry second wife, froze. Both stared at the joined hands. Lian tried to yank his hand away. Aldrich did not allow it. Seraphina blurted softly, "Your Majesty, are you finally happy?" Aldrich blinked. "What makes you say that?" She gestured helplessly at Lion and the hand-holding. Lian felt his soul leave his body. Valara, meanwhile, stared at Lian like he had committed a national crime. "You," she hissed, "you held the king's hand?" Lian pointed at Aldrich. "He started it." Aldrich calmly corrected. "Wu started it." "No, we did not." Seraphina, emotional, grabbed Lion's other hand. "Thank you, truly. He has been alone for so long." Valara crossed her arms. "I refuse to accept this. You cannot seduce the king." Lion flailed. "I did not seduce anybody." Aldrich, utterly calm, "He is very seductive." Leon's jaw dropped. "Stop talking." The queen stared. Valara turned red with fury. Seraphina smiled warmly. Aldrich remained serenely pleased. Lian wanted to jump out a window. The courtyard scene, more jealousy. Later, Lian tried escaping to the courtyard to regain his sanity. He found Rowan there, training with a wooden staff. Rowan waved. "Good morning, Your Highness." "Morning," Lian said, relieved to see someone normal. They talked casually for a moment. Rowan laughed at one of Lion's stories, and Aldrich appeared instantly. Not walked, not approached, appeared. "Rowan," Aldrich said, voice low, "you seem free today." Rowan stiffened. "Your Majesty, I was only—" "Leave." "That's not necessary." Lian began. "Leave," Aldrich repeated. Rowan saluted and fled the courtyard like his life depended on it. Lian spun toward Aldrich. "Why are you like this?" Aldrich stepped closer. "Because," he said calmly, "he smiles too much when you talk." "That's what people do." Aldrich tilted his head. "You smiled, too." "That's also what people do." Aldrich looked Lion in the eyes. "Only with people you like." Lian stopped breathing. Aldrich?" The king's voice softened to velvet. "Do you like him?" "No." Aldrich stepped closer. "Then whom do you like, Lion?" Lian backed up until his back hit the courtyard wall. Aldrich leaned one hand against the wall beside him. "Close. Warm. Warm. Too close." Aldrich repeated softly. "Do you like?" Lion whispered. "Someone extremely annoying." Aldrich smiled slowly. "Good. Wait, that was about you?" "I know." The first almost kiss. Again. Aldrich leaned in slightly. So close Lion could feel his breath. "Lion." "Yes? I want—" He paused. Lian swallowed. Aldrich leaned closer. Closer. Then a guard ran in. "Your Majesty, emergency." Aldrich pulled back, expression murderous. "What?" The royal goats escaped." Aldrich closed his eyes. "Of course." Lian laughed so hard he doubled over. Aldrich glared at him. "This is not amusing." "No, it's not. Very serious." "The goats." "Ha ha." Aldrich tried to remain stern but failed when Lion kept wheezing. His lips curled, then softened completely. He lifted a hand and gently wiped Lion's tear of laughter with his thumb. "I like seeing you happy," Aldrich murmured. Lion's breath caught. "Even over escaped goats?" Lian whispered. Aldrich's voice dropped to a warm rumble, especially over them. Chapter 10. The King Who Doesn't Know He's Flirting. The morning after the goat disaster was surprisingly peaceful. No goats escaped. No wives ambushed them. No guards accidentally walked in on intimate moments. Leon woke up to sunshine gently spilling across his bed. It should been relaxing, but then he remembered. Aldrich had almost kissed him yesterday. Lion grabbed his pillow and screamed into it. A breakfast of chaos. Again. Lion walked into the dining hall determined to act normal. He failed immediately, because Aldrich was already there, sipping tea, looking like a romantic painting that escaped from a museum. Hair tied loosely, sleeves rolled, neck exposed, chest slightly visible, completely illegal. Leon froze. Aldrich looked up and smiled softly, like he reserved that smile for only one person. "Good morning, Lion." Leon melted. Hello, food. Aldrich blinked. Food. Yes. Leon sat down too fast. There is food. I'm eating it. Normal things. Aldrich looked amused. You seem nervous today. I'm always nervous. No, Aldrich said, leaning forward slightly. You're glowing. I'm what? Aldrich calmly placed a plate in front of him. You are radiant this morning. Leon's brain instantly shut down. He stared at the fruit like it had betrayed him. Stop saying things like that, he blurted. Aldrich frowned slightly. Why? Did I offend you? No, but you can't just say romantic words casually. Aldrich tilted his head. They are not casual. Leon's heartbeat tried to escape his body. The training grounds, Aldrich's overprotective side levels upper. Later, Lion walked to the training grounds because he wanted fresh air. Aldrich followed him. Of course he did. Lion sighed. Aldrich, you don't have to escort me everywhere. Aldrich looked at him. I want to. Leon's cheeks heated. You just like hovering. Aldrich looked genuinely thoughtful. Hovering implies I move quietly. You do. Aldrich smirked slightly. Then I will walk louder. He stepped on the gravel extra hard. Crunch. Crunch. Leon burst into laughter. Stop. You look like a dramatic goose. I do not resemble a goose, Aldrich said, offended. You're stomping. I am striding. That's not striding. That's my feelings are hurt and now I'm crunchy. Aldrich pressed a hand to his chest. My emotions are not crunchy. Lion wheezed. Your face is crunchy. Aldrich stopped walking and stared at him. Then, slowly, he smiled. Leon's heart skipped painfully. Aldrich's smiles should be illegal. Sword practice, aka flirting with weapons. Rowan was in the training yard. When he saw Lion approaching, he bowed. Your Highness. Aldrich instantly narrowed his eyes. Leon sighed. Aldrich, behave. Rowan offered politely. Would you like to try basic defense moves today? Leon brightened. Yes, I want to learn. Aldrich slowly stepped between them. He trains with me. Rowan blinked. Your Majesty, you've never trained anyone before. I am beginning today. Rowan wisely backed away. Lion poked Aldrich. Are you jealous? Aldrich didn't even deny it this time. Yes. Leon's face went red. You can't just say it so directly. Aldrich picked up a wooden practice sword and stood behind Leon. Lift your arms, he instructed quietly. Leon did. Aldrich stepped closer, until his chest pressed lightly against Lion's back. Lion made a tiny squeak. Aldrich's hand slid over his, guiding the sword. Warm. Gentle. Too gentle for a man called Stone-Hearted. Aldrich's voice dipped low behind his ear. Relax. Don't fear the movement. I'm fearing you. Aldrich chuckled softly. It rumbled through Lion's spine. Leon nearly dropped the sword. Aldrich steadied his trembling hands, leaning close enough that Lion felt his breath brush his neck. You are safe with me, he whispered. Leon froze, because for a moment he believed it completely. An embarrassing end to the training session. Lion tried to swing the sword. He missed the target, hit the pole. The pole vibrated. The sword flew out of his hands and smacked Aldrich in the knee. Aldrich stared down at the weapon, then at Leon. Leon panicked. I didn't mean to hit your royal knee. Aldrich blinked. It is fine. No, that was a betrayal. I have committed treason on your leg. Aldrich's expression softened. Lion, I will accept execution. A bruise is not execution worthy. I hit the king with a wooden stick. I have endangered the kingdom. Aldrich stepped forward, tipped Lion's chin up with one finger and whispered, You could never endanger me. Lion combusted. The very unhelpful wives. Later, Queen Seraphina found Lion in the hall. Oh my, she whispered. You are glowing again. Seraphina, please. She leaned closer. Tell me, has His Majesty kissed you yet? No, stop asking. She sighed sadly. Soon then. Before Leon could respond, Queen Volara appeared with her usual scowl. You're spending too much time with the king? Leon threw his hands up. I live here. Volara narrowed her eyes. You're bewitched, aren't you? Leon gasped. Yes, actually, I think I am. And the witch is Aldrich. Seraphina giggled behind her sleeve. Volara was horrified. Aldrich turned the corner at that exact moment. Who is calling me a witch? He asked calmly. Leon squeaked. Nobody. Run. Everyone run. Aldrich makes his first move. Sort of. That evening, Lion walked into the balcony overlooking the garden. Aldrich was already there, watching the sunset. Leon hesitated. Can I join you? Aldrich looked over his shoulder. His eyes softened. Always. Lion stepped beside him. They stood quietly, watching the sky turn gold. After a moment, Aldrich spoke. Today, he said softly, I enjoyed teaching you. Leon looked away shyly. I enjoyed learning. Aldrich turned toward him fully. May I ask something? Leon swallowed. Yes. Aldrich reached out, gently tucked a loose strand of hair behind Leon's ear. Leon's breath caught. Aldrich's fingertips lingered, warm, careful, reverent. Why do you tremble around me? He asked quietly. Lion whispered the truth before he could stop himself. Because you make everything feel too much. Aldrich's golden eyes softened. He leaned in slowly. So slowly Lion felt every second stretch. Lion, Aldrich murmured. Yes. Leon breathed. Aldrich's lips brushed his cheek. Soft. Warm. Barely there. A shy, testing kiss. Lion stared at him in shock. Aldrich stepped back slightly. I will wait, he said softly. Until you are ready. Leon's heart burst.